President, last night you said we might be better off not making a deal with Iran.
Well, I wouldn't have to. I didn't say that. I said that if we left right now, it would take them 20 years to rebuild. But we're not leaving right now. We're going to do it so nobody has to go back in 2 years or 5 years.
Mr. President, you also said last night that...
They told me about the concept of the deal. They're going to give me the exact wording now, yeah.
Mr. President, last night you also said that only 85% of Iran's missile-making capabilities has been eliminated.
Correct.
Is that other 15% important? Does the United States need to eliminate that?
Well, I'd like to eliminate it, yeah. I'd like to. It'd be a start for them to build up again. And, yeah, I would like to eliminate it.
Sir, under what circumstances would you restart military strikes on targets?
Well, I don't want to say that. I mean, I can't tell that to a reporter. If they misbehave, if they do something bad, but right now, we'll see. But, you know, it's a possibility that could happen, certainly.
Mr. President, in your letter to Congress, you said the hostilities in Iran that started have been terminated. How can you say that given that the naval blockade is still being militarily enforced?
Well, it's a very friendly blockade. Nobody's even challenging it. Nobody at all is challenging it. Just so you understand, many presidents have been involved in things that are very big. They never had to go through anything with respect to Congress. They considered it to be totally unconstitutional. And the Democrats in Congress that pushed this, and probably a couple of Republicans, they're hurting our negotiating ability, which is infinite right now. And they shouldn't be doing it. It's never happened before. No other president's done it. And I'm not going to be the first. Thank you very much.
Go
ahead.
Mr. President, do you envision a future where American energy companies are operating inside of Iran, much like
Could be. It could be. I'll tell you what, we have a lot of ships coming up to Texas and Louisiana. It's a line of ships. You saw it in the satellite. We have a line of ships, big ones, 2 million barrels, and they're coming up. I mean, literally hundreds of ships are in line to go to Texas. I mean, they're already started. But we're selling a lot of oil, a lot of oil.
Why is the U.S. removing troops from Germany?
We're going to cut way down, and we're cutting a lot further than 5,000. Thank you very much.
And it included a list of demands: a withdrawal of U.S. troops, a lifting of the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports, lifting sanctions, releasing frozen assets, an end to the war between Israel and the Iranian-backed militant group Hezbollah in Lebanon, and a new post-war order where Iran is in charge of the Strait of Hormuz, charging tolls and denying Israeli and U.S. ships from entering. The U.S. says Iranian control of the strait is completely unacceptable. The U.S. blockade of Iranian ports continues, choking Iran's economy. CENTCOM says 49 ships have been blocked, totaling $6 billion worth of oil.
Hi, Joey. So just minutes ago, we got this news that President Trump announcing a new operation. This is Project Freedom, that will allow some of the ships that have been stuck in the Strait of Hormuz to be safely escorted out of that waterway. The president, who is here in Doral at his golf club watching the PGA Cadillac Championship, posted this on Truth Social, saying, "For the good of Iran, the Middle East, and the United States, we have told these countries that we will guide their ships safely out of these restricted waterways so that they can freely and ably get on with their business." Today, the Iranians claim that the U.S. has responded to their latest proposal. President Trump posted online that he doubted that the proposal would be acceptable. Iran says this is a 14-point plan following the U.S.'s 9-point proposal. Iran says that these were not nuclear negotiations, and President Trump has made clear that Iran's nuclear capability is a non-negotiable.
There has to be a wide open Strait of Hormuz, and there has to be a turnover of the enriched uranium and no path to a nuclear weapon. Those are the goals that the president's laid out and that we must achieve. And it really is in Iran's hands.
The administration is greenlighting more than $8.6 billion in emergency arms sales to partners in the Middle East. It comes amid growing tensions with European allies. Today, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz says there's no link between the recent comments and the U.S. decision to remove troops from Germany, saying, quote, "I'm not giving up on working with the transatlantic relationship, nor am I giving up on working with Donald Trump." Although last night, President Trump says that there could be an even larger withdrawal.
Why is the U.S. removing troops from Germany?
we're going to cut way down, and we're cutting a lot further than 5,000. Thank you very much.
Now, in terms of this latest announcement, Project Freedom, the president says that this will aim to free up companies and individuals, especially for those who have been on ships that have been unable to move out of the Strait of Hormuz. The president also giving a warning, saying that if there is any interference with this mission to try to get these ships out of the Strait of Hormuz safely, that will be dealt with forcefully.
Good evening, everybody. Hope you guys have had a great weekend. I had a lot of yelling, so again, my voice is kind of on the weak side of things. But I'm so happy to be here today because I'm going to give you some information that I am 100% certain nobody else is going to give you. Let me just go ahead and say it right now. We are winning. Not just the war in Iran. I'm talking about the election. I'm talking about winning it all. I didn't say we've won. I said we're winning. Still a lot of time left, still a lot of work to be done, but we are winning. And I'm going to prove to you specifically why that's the case. And then I'm going to show you why the Democrats know that. They know that to be true. And hopefully after today's show, excuse me, if the voice holds up, you'll understand that as well. First and foremost, want to dovetail off of what you just heard. President Trump posted this. It's a picture of him with Uno cards, and it says, "I have all the cards." The President of the United States posted, "I have all the cards." I'm going to tell you some of those cards that he's probably getting ready to play right now and what's going on. Just to jump ahead really quick, just want to let you guys know this breaking news. Rudy Giuliani, excuse me, has been hospitalized and is in critical condition. They haven't said what it is, if it's a heart condition, stroke, whatever, but Rudy Giuliani is in critical condition in a hospital. He was right about everything. They cheated on the elections. They fabricated hundreds of stories. They did anything possible to destroy our nation. And now Rudy is in the hospital. So if you're a praying person, which I hope many of you are, please say a prayer for Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor. All right, so let's go back to what President Trump has said. He showed you, I have all the cards. So now let me explain to you, and this is a long post. I don't want to spend my whole voice on it, but I want to show it to you. And it says, countries from all over the world, almost all of which are not involved in Middle Eastern dispute going on so visibly and violently for all to see, have asked the United States if we could help free up the ships which are locked in the Strait of Hormuz. And he goes on and on and on. Excuse me. Why that's important? He is now going to use our military to escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz, almost daring Iran to fire on these ships. Now understand, this is where the chess match gets really, really important. If you look down here at the bottom, he goes through the entire thing. He's calling it Project Freedom. And then down here, he says, I think it would go a long way in showing goodwill on behalf of all those who have been fighting so strenuously over the last couple months. If in any way this humanitarian process is interfered with, that interference will unfortunately have to be dealt with forcefully. He's talking to Iran. Thank you for your attention to this matter. If you've been following the last week or so in terms of the news and how the Democrats have been going in and trying to get the war resolution powers changed and everything else, and if you've been following for the last 60 days, you know that he can't keep going with the military operation beyond a certain period of time, 30, 60 days, without going to Congress and a ceasefire so he can start again. So what is this? He is going to be escorting ships, a peace humanitarian mission. And so as he's escorting these ships as a humanitarian mission, as he himself defined right there. It says it. This is humanitarian mission. Where did I read that? Here it is. This humanitarian process. He put that out not by accident. Because this is not an act of war, that he's just escorting these ships or having the military escort these ships, that means if Iran fires on these ships that are part of a humanitarian process, bingo, start up all over again, doesn't need any congressional approval. At that point, we had to defend ourselves. These people are shooting at us. These idiots in these speedboats are still shooting. We have to defend ourselves. We were just doing a humanitarian mission. This man and Pete and General Kane, they play on an entirely different level. They know that the mullahs or the sub-mullahs, whoever over there is calling the shots, can't wait to get those speedboats rolling and start shooting at people. Because if the strait opens, and it's freely open for people who aren't involved in a conflict, so people getting oil from all over the world, but they just aren't the United States. At that point, they would be foolish to fire on American ships. Absolutely insane. Suicidal. But at the same time, you know that they are. You know that these people are crazy. You want to get the rest of the world pissed off at you? Start firing on these ships. Let the rest of the world see you people are savages. And then let the rest of the world see we have to protect you. It's what we got to do. There's no other way around it. And at that point, he's going to blow them to bits. I dare you, is pretty much what he's saying. I dare you in Project Freedom here to go ahead and escort all these boats. I dare you, I double dog dare you to shoot at our ships. That's a big one. That's a really, really big one. In addition to that, he went on quite the spree of posts today. Actually, I think he was flying back from Miami up to the White House after the golf tournament. And I was waiting to see if he was going to do a gaggle like he always does. I didn't see any gaggle posted. If he did, it'll be posted later, and I'll show it tomorrow. But he also, at 7:09, posted this about John Thune. We cannot allow there to be an election that is conducted unconstitutional simply for the convenience of state legislatures. If they have to vote twice, so be it. We should demand that state legislators do what the Supreme Court has now said. That is more important than administrative convenience. The byproduct is that the Republicans will receive more than 20 House seats in the upcoming midterms. All right, so you know everybody's up in roar about the Supreme Court decision. And what that means is the Republicans, if they get the cojones, they're going to wipe out the Democrats. Kagan, Sotomayor, and DEI Jackson intentionally withheld their dissent decree because they wanted to push this all the way through, hopefully, and block anything the Republicans could do before the decision came out. It was too close. They're not going to be able to do anything. And that way, they could probably try to cheat the midterms. President Trump is heading that off at the pass and telling the Republicans, get it done. Louisiana, Tennessee, here in Florida, get it done and wipe these people out. Fully legal, fully under your control, fully under your power, wipe them out once and for all. That and the Save America Act and the filibuster would effectively end the Democrat Party. And nothing I'm telling you right now is conjecture. They know it as well. And I'm going to show you that as we move forward. They know full well they are done. They are zombies walking the streets right now. They are not a viable political party. They're dangerous. They're dangerous because what they want to do to us. They're dangerous because of what they would use in their arsenal to destroy America, maybe do incite riots or whatever. But they're not a viable political opponent in terms of being able to do anything at the polls. they're done. And you're like, Barry, how can you make such a declarative statement? They're done. I'm going to show you. And then he posted this a little bit earlier. Hakeem Jeffries, a low IQ individual, said our Supreme Court is illegitimate. After saying such a thing, isn't he subject to impeachment? I got impeached for a perfect phone call. Where are you Republicans? Why not get it started? They'll be doing this to me, President Trump. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Why not start impeachment hearings on Hakeem Jeffries? Why not do that? Why not start using the power that you have? It is immense, and it's viable, and you can actually use it. So get your butts off the bench and do something. It's insane. And I've watched a lot on X over the last couple of days. And the only thing I can come up to try and give you guys some explanation is, if you can't handle social media, get off. That's what I'm going to tell you. If you don't realize you're being propagandized, if you don't realize that they're throwing gaslighting at you to the nth degree, if you don't realize they're trying to do every kind of spin possible to get your mind thinking, then you shouldn't be on X, you shouldn't be on Facebook, because that's what they're doing. You know, I had an opportunity once again to step away yesterday. That's why I didn't do a show. And I got to experience real life. And I'm going to talk to you after the break here about some real life. And when you hear what I have to tell you, I am hoping that some of this begins to sink in and you realize that you're being bamboozled, hoodwinked, all of it, including, this is where the tough one comes, including about gas prices. And I know there's so many people leaving on the right, like, oh my God, the gas prices are so high, including your worry about the gas prices. Yes, it's all BS. It's all BS. I'm probably going to be the only person who tells you that. Before I get into it, let me go ahead and see what SV's got. Hey man, how's your weekend going?
Hey, let's have a moment of silence for Didn't Do Nothing Airlines. Give me a second. Okay, I'm done.
You know, the whole thing about Spirit Airlines, and I will fully confess, I loved Spirit Airlines. Let me tell you why.
Okay. I want to hear this.
Let me tell you why I love Spirit Airlines. Because they were the cheapest airline out there. Everybody always ran to get the cheapest seats. And I always, every single time, bought what they called the big seats, which is basically as first class as Spirit could be. They're the first 3 rows of seats in the airplane. They're big, nice, comfortable leather seats and everything else. And they weren't really expensive. Okay. And I always flew the big seats, i.e. first class, but it's not really first class. And then towards the end, they started trying to make it first class. They brought you out drinks, they brought you out food before anybody else got anything. And for, a huge discount off of Delta, American, and everything else, you got seated, you got a nice big seat, and you're essentially, without calling it first class or business class, essentially was a business class type arrangement. Okay. And you could always buy those seats because the bargain hunters were always running into the back.
Right.
They always wanted the cheap seats. And it's so funny. I did that in sports games and everything else, because sometimes those seats don't get taken. You're like, who sits in those nice seats? Well, people who don't show up, you can get them, but unfortunately, they're going to be gone.
I've never flown on them. I've been on. I like Breeze Airways. They're different groups of seating, are very comfortable, and they're relatively cheap. But yeah, I've never been on Spirit. I just seen all the videos of all the craziness, and that meme today with Marco being told he had to run Spirit. That was fire, man. That was so funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was extremely funny with him and him having to be a DJ. What was the other
Yes.
one? He's going to be the press secretary now that Caroline's had her baby. Oh, it's
That
been
poor guy.
it's been so funny, the whole thing. But I'm going to miss
Well,
Spirit Airlines. I mean, we're going to
yeah.
segue probably to JetBlue, and I've got a friend that works at Delta, so I'm like, all right, I got to make the change finally. And
Okay.
he's like, come. I'm like, okay, we'll come. Sad news about Rudy. If you find out why he's in the hospital, please let me know. If any,
Yeah,
it sucks when they just say he's in critical condition. I'm like, you get hit by a bus, or I mean, something happened, or
no,
yeah,
it's critical and stabilized now. So I mean, it's still very serious, but there's a lot of rumor. Somebody said it was stroke. Until
yeah,
it's verified by Trump, I'm not telling you anything yet.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a lot
That
of
absolutely
speculation.
sucks.
But I do have some business news here. So do you know the GameStop company? Have you
Yes,
heard of
they
GameStop?
did all the memes and everything, meme stocks. Yes.
Right. They were almost out of business a couple of years ago,
Hmm.
but apparently the CEO Ryan Cohen has just made an unsolicited $56 billion offer to acquire eBay,
Wow.
proposing $125 per share in a bid to build a major e-commerce rival. The proposal includes a 20% premium, a 5% equity stake, and a $20 billion in secured financing, targeting a company roughly 4 times GameStop size. I thought that was pretty big news. So,
But who's going to buy that stock? The economy sucks. The sky's falling. I mean,
oh
how
my
can
God,
people?
right?
How can this possibly be? I mean,
No,
where's this money going to come from?
amazing.
It's crazy.
That's why it hasn't been a big news story, because it shows prosperity, right? It's been
Yeah,
like nothing to see here, nothing to
yeah.
see here. You know,
And you know,
let's
it's
talk
funny.
about Trump.
I saw a couple of people had issues rebooking from their Spirit flights to other airlines.
Yeah,
But for the most part, it hasn't been an overwhelming news about that. People,
yeah,
JetBlue stepped up and said, well, we'll accommodate as many people as we can. But you would think people would be screaming. You would think that, the person who started the fire, Liz Warren, would be
yeah.
telling people how you can get a refund,
Hmm.
but it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Hey, I think that if you want to get an airplane right now, they're selling pretty cheap, those jets. Seriously.
Keep an eye out. I'm wondering, because not only the jets, but they also have
Fire
all their
sale.
all their gates and everything else. Look
Oh
for
yeah.
somebody to step in. I know. You know who would be perfect? It would be so perfect for Elon to start an airline. I don't know if he wants to do that because his
That's
airlines
true.
go to the moon. But could you imagine if he stepped in and was able to get that at a discount? A discount for him in regards. That would be.
He had a dust up with some guy, some company last year. I can't remember the company, but he was going back and forth with somebody who was giving him crap. I have to do some research, but yeah, I think that's a great idea, Barry. I
Yeah.
mean, shoot, another thing he would turn into, a success story.
You know
You
what? I
know,
actually saw somebody else who had an idea, and that would be for the government to buy it and
that's
turn it
hero.
into deportation air.
Con Air.
Just get them out. We
I
fly
love these ideas.
we fly 24/7, getting them out immediately. The
Yeah.
left would just go crazy. All right, well
All right.
let me
Do the
start.
commercial.
All right, and it's too funny. I've been watching people's head explode all weekend, and
It's
and,
been
and
a
I'm
crazy
gonna.
weekend.
I think you're gonna see too some of the stuff I have to show you. I'm gonna piss
Okay.
some people off. I'm just telling you right now. You might have to really check out the chat because some people gonna be mad, real mad.
Yeah, there's a couple. I just timed somebody out. So, they're coming.
All right, we'll talk to you in
All
a
right. See you
second.
soon, Barry.
All right.
Okay.
All right, everybody, I want to tell you about tonight's sponsors. If you're over 45, there's nothing wrong with that. And you've noticed that you got some edema, which is that ankle swelling or foot swelling stuff that some people get, especially at the end of the day, or puffiness in your face when you look in the mirror, or just that heavy, sluggish feeling no matter how well you eat. Listen up, it's not your age and it's not your fault. Doctors call it lymphatic congestion. And here's what most people don't know. Unlike your blood, your lymphatic system has no pump. There's no heart pushing it along. It only moves when you move. through muscle contraction and deep breathing. I got to tell you this is because me, and when I go on Saturday mornings, I get my stretch and massage and stuff. It's amazing just how much stressing and bending me over like Gumby makes me feel so much better all day. Because between sitting all day, your potential for dehydration, your processed foods that you may be eating, and the natural slowdown that kicks in after 45, it's no wonder things back up. And when they do, you get the edema, that puffy swelling in your feet. You get a brain fog, and then stubborn weight that just won't come off no matter how hard you diet. Well, LymphMD from Nation Health MD was developed by Lisa King, a licensed pharmacist. She formulated it with 9 natural botanicals: dandelion root, burdock, turmeric, bromelain. These are the same ingredients that herbalists have trusted for generations to get things moving again. In about 2 weeks, you will see, as just a lot of people have seen, they notice everything from their rings fit better on their fingers. I mean, you know, when you have a ring and you can't get it off because your fingers are swollen, that really sucks. You don't want that to happen. That tells you you're maintaining water and things just aren't good. So you get that feeling back. You're able to stand and your feet aren't swollen up. Your legs and feet will stop feeling heavy, and many people report having a clean, steady energy they haven't felt in years, with no pain, no jitters, and no crash. LymphMD is only available at nationhealthmd.com, and every bottle comes with a 365-day money-back guarantee, a full year to try it risk-free. My viewers here at Fanfare get it with 35% off by using the code BARRYGIFT for a short time only. The link is also in the description below. Your body will thank you. And if you can get your ring off really easy like that, you know what I mean when sometimes you get bloating in your fingers. So check it out if you need so. I will be back and jump into it.
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Hey, before I begin, we have a post by the U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, affirming what they will be doing in the Strait of Hormuz. This is the post they put up. It says, Tampa, Florida, U.S. Central Command will begin supporting Project Freedom May 4th, tomorrow, to restore freedom of navigation for commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. The mission, directed by the president, will support merchant vessels seeking to freely transit through the essential international trade corridor, a quarter of the world's oil trade at sea, and significant volumes of fuel and fertilizer products are transported through the strait. Our support for this defensive mission, notice that word, just like I told you, humanitarian, this is defensive, is essential to regional security and the global economy, as we are also able to maintain the naval blockade. Last week, the U.S. Department of State announced a new initiative in partnership with the Department of War to enhance coordination and information sharing among international partners in support of maritime security in the Strait. The Maritime Freedom construct aims to combine diplomatic action with military coordination, which will be critical during Project Freedom. U.S. military support to Project Freedom will include guided missile destroyers, over 100 land and sea-based aircraft, multi-domain unmanned platforms, and 15,000 service members, i.e., Iran had better not F around. I'm just saying. And that from CENTCOM, puts an exclamation point on what President Trump said. Don't mess around. You're going to turn this from a humanitarian defensive effort into an offensive effort very quickly, and you will not like the outcome. All right, that being said, let me go into something I want to talk to you about. And it was especially apparent over the last couple days. What you're seeing on X, let me be the first to break it to you, many of you probably already know, is not real life. It is a petri dish of propaganda, gaslighting, spamming, and trolling. You really have to work to find real stuff there now, because most people in real life aren't even paying attention to what's going on X or Facebook. Real people are living their lives and actually having fun and enjoying themselves in an amazing way that's visible. Everything I'm about to tell you, you can verify yourself. This isn't Barry making something up. If you take the time, you will see that just about everything on X is designed for people on X. Yes, I know I'm on X a lot. I try to, insert myself into some commentary. Had a guy today, stupid guy, who said that gas was $7 a gallon in Boca, and then somebody challenged him, and like, where are you? And he picked some gas station, and they're like, well, give me a call or text me. I'll take you to where, 2 miles away, where I personally know the gas is $2 a gallon cheaper. It's BS. They're trying everything to get you off your game. There are even people in this chat who try to get you off their games. There are people who follow Trump who are trying to get you off your game. Stop playing their games. Twitter and these social media are not real life. Let me prove it to you. I got 3 or 4 things to tell you to absolutely prove it to you. How many of you, raise your hand, are familiar with the site Google Trends? And right now, a lot of you are probably going like this and typing it in. So let me just save you the time. Google Trends is a site by Google, the biggest search engine in the world, of basically condensing information to let people know what people are actually looking for and talking about right now. It's current. It constantly evolves. You can go back a year. You can go back to yesterday. You can look at it today. And it will tell you what people in real life are actually interested in. Here, let me show you this, because some of you may not understand how to use it. And let me be the one to show you. Let me pull up the right window here. Yeah, okay. This is Google Trends. I've got it set right here at the last 48 hours. And it was updated at 7:32. We are now at 8 o'clock. Let me go ahead and refresh. And as we refresh at 8:04, it is real-time updating on what people are actually talking about and looking for. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the top 40, over the last 40 hours, the top searches. The Kentucky Derby, the hantavirus, talking about that cruise ship, Let's Buy Spirit.com, America Pumas, minimum wage, RCD Espanol, Real Madrid, that's soccer or football, where to watch the Toronto Raptors, Rudy Giuliani, now that came up an hour ago, is on there. New MSC Cruise Theme Park, Snowstorm, Larry Gonzalez office, Royals, Mariners, Mets versus Angels. Remember what I told you about sports. Miami Grand Prix, McDonald's nationwide, Magic versus Pistons. Let me expand this to 50 pages. 50 things. Canadians versus the Lightning, Delta cancellations, Aston Villa versus Tottenham, another soccer, Sony PlayStation, Toby event. I can go on and on and on. And I want you to look in here. As I was just reading this, you can check it yourself. This is the United States top, I think we're at 50. I could literally just keep going and show you more and more. The Newark Airport, interesting thing there was an accident where a plane hit a UPS truck as it was coming in. But, you know, I could go to page 2, and now I've got 50 more results of what people are looking for. And here I've got Cameron Young, Anthony Volpe, Sicario, the movie, Jerome Powell, Craig Long, season finale, Independence Day. Did you notice what wasn't on there? I was going through a whole bunch of those, and you can go back and search yourself. But did you notice what wasn't on there? There was nothing about gas prices. Not a single top search, all the way down to like 5,000 searches. I mean, this down here, you can see Independence Day is 5. Once you get to page 2 and 3, they're small. James Harden from NBA, Ubi. There's nothing there about gas prices. None. It's not even in the top 100 searches. Nobody is looking up, oh my gosh, the gas prices are high. You know why? Gird yourself. I really want you to take a deep breath. Nobody cares. X, Facebook, maybe your immediate circle, maybe you personally, nobody cares. It is a completely manufactured, choreographed crisis. If you also notice, there was nothing about the Iranian war. How could this be? Those are the 2 biggest stories in the world right now. The Iranian war, Straits of Hormuz, and gas prices. Nope. Not even grocery prices. Nope. Millions of people are searching. As you can see these numbers here, let me bring it back to the first page here. Millions of people are making these searches. We're not talking about little itty-bitty searches. Who won the Kentucky Derby? 1 million. Hantavirus, 100. Let's Buy Spirit, 1 million. The minimum wage, 100,000. The soccer match, 200. Where to watch the Toronto Raptors, 200. Nobody's talking. When I say nobody, I'm talking about this many. And it might be you and your mom and your friends. That's it. Let me further prove it to you. Not sure what you guys did yesterday afternoon at about, I don't know, 6:30 or so, but there happened to be a major horse race. And at that major horse race, there were 150,000 attending the actual horse race. 150,000. If you hadn't checked it yourself, you may not know. But Churchill Downs in Kentucky, 152,000 people showed up to watch horses run for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Do-do-do-do-do. From the time he blew the bugle, then they ran 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. By the way, it was a fantastic race. Nobody was talking about gas prices or Iran. They were living their lives. The Democrats can't stand it. The Democrats must keep you in chaos and turmoil, which is why they keep talking about it. If you go on X, every single Democrat politician, oh, people are, they're getting crushed with gas prices and grocery prices, and Trump has lied to them and blah, 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 over and over and over, because it's part of the campaign to go ahead and drill it in your mind. Notice they didn't talk about the Kentucky Derby. Women out there with giant, crazy looking hats, spending all kinds of money on dresses, men in suits. Men, I don't know if you saw the some of the people, and if you even watched the pageantry of it. Do you think that and don't think it's just for the elite? I know people who went there. I know people who had a great time. They went there, they had hotels, they went on airplanes, they stayed and they had dinner. They lived their lives. But that wasn't it. You see, down here, yesterday and today, we had this event called the Miami Grand Prix, and it rained, and people were like freaking out and everything. Well, I want you to know the Miami Grand Prix today at the Hard Rock Stadium and all around the Hard Rock, 275,000 people were watching this race. And both of these events, Kentucky Derby and the Miami Grand Prix, neither of which am I counting in television audiences. 275,000 people braved the rain today in South Florida to go watch cars go round and round and round very fast. How do you explain that? How do you explain 152,000 in Kentucky and 275,000 in Miami if the economy sucks so bad? People will make excuses. People will say, well, that's just people with money. And you can make every excuse you want. That's close to 400,000, 275, 370, yeah, over 400,000 people. And you think they're all just rich people? Think again. Down here in Fort Lauderdale this weekend coming up, Saturday and Sunday, Robin and I will be down there, and it's the Fort Lauderdale Air and Sea Show. And it's held on the beach, and the planes go zipping by, the Blue Angels and all those things. They do all kinds of funky stuff. They expect 1 million people, not 275. Not 150. They expect 1 million people, weather permitting, please have good weather, to be all along the beach watching these planes go zippity, zippity, doodah all around. How do you explain it when everybody keeps saying the economy's so bad? Could it be that possibly we're seeing things happen right now that are being orchestrated and choreographed? And I know I'm not saying some people aren't hurting. I'm not saying that at all. There are definitely people who are hurting. A lot of people can't afford certain things. I understand that. I'm not being facetious, and I'm not taking it lightly. I'm talking about America. I'm talking about the overwhelming amount of people. And then that didn't even include who was down here at the golf tournament or who was at the NBA playoffs this weekend. There were events everywhere. I told you many times, as we get into the spring, people stop paying attention to the craziness and start living their lives. We just had the NFL draft. Oh, that's right. There was 300,000 people at the flipping NFL draft. How is that possible? How did all these people go to a place like Pittsburgh to watch people come out and crown millionaires? and clap heartily for these millionaires that they don't know. Well, many of whom are black. Almost all of them were black. How is this possible? How are so many people living life in so many different kinds of demographics? Because the people who went to go watch horse racing ain't the people who went to go watch racing, ain't the people who watched the golf tournament, and ain't the people who watched the NFL draft. How are we seeing such immense crowds happening in the middle of a war with gas prices, oh my God, so high? People are living their lives. Twitter/Facebook, whatever you want to call them, is not real life. Maybe you should start following people who are exuding more positivity, who are having fun. Maybe instead of the grifters and guys who get their networks taken away and get right back on and trash Trump, maybe you want to follow people who are having a good time at life. And realize at this point, if you, extract yourself from the voodoo that is going on, you'll start seeing, wow, people are really enjoying themselves. 275,000 people watching cars go zoom, zoom. And that doesn't count concerts. There's so many other things. And you just have to wonder, what is it exactly is going on? I just feel people aren't seeing specifically what exactly is happening, and they're being bamboozled, they're being lied to, and they're falling for it. So I want to show you something. I posted a video yesterday, me just driving around in my car like I sometimes do. I use a couple bad words. People got pissed off at me, but I want you to understand this. We're winning big, not a little. We are winning extremely big. So listen to this. What's up, everybody, on a glorious Saturday morning here in South Florida. Not sure when you'll see this, but it's just a gorgeous 82 degrees at 8:30 in the morning down here in Boca. So if you've been following this, the drama that's enveloped the country, actually the left part of the country, who are so worried about what they consider the evisceration of the Voting Rights Act. And I just had a quick thought about that, is that as I watch these people kvetch and whine and bitch all over the place, the thing that comes most prevalent to me, that I see the most, is the fact that people are complaining about white privilege while trying to maintain black privilege. It makes absolutely no sense. Let me just give all the grievance merchants a little heads up. You are never going to stop racism. For 60 plus years, you've been fighting the wrong battle. You've been complaining that you need reparations and you need special programs and you need free food and you need bus passes and you need more money for school and you need more money for blah, 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 and none of it's worked. In 60 years, the hood is still the hood. You're fighting the wrong battle. Racism will never go away. You see, a lot of people don't understand that. Racism isn't going to go away. The flu isn't going to go away. There are certain things that we can just sit back and go, yeah, that's going to happen. And as I'm going to say here, the problem that people are having is that they're trying to fight the boogeyman without understanding what they need to do to make sure the boogeyman doesn't scare them at night. To make sure that you understand the boogeyman under your bed, there is no boogeyman. The boogeyman can only scare you if you allow yourself to be scared. So what you should be focusing on is showing people how to, truly overcome racism, where they're not whining, where they're not crying, while they're not, worried about what somebody says to them. I've been called the N-word. You know how much it's mattered to me? That much. You see, when you become agnostic to racism, racism cannot affect you. If you're feeling offended, get over yourself. Fuck your feelings. Nope. I'm sorry. This was made for Twitter, and I'm over the people whining. Nobody cares, as I said, nobody cares about your feelings. And that's going to be a theme going in for some of you too. Understand, you're winning. You wanted President Trump to do this. You wanted President Trump in office, and he's winning. You're allowing people to get into your head. So besides the race baiting grievance merchants, the other trolls that even come in this chat, they're there to get in your head. At this point, if you just laugh at them and delete them and just ignore them, you're going to be better off. Nobody cares how you feel. If you're worried so much about your feeling, that means you're not producing. You're not doing anything. It's taking over your mindset. You're so worried about what somebody said or what somebody did, instead of being taught and understanding that those feelings shouldn't stop you from doing what you have to do. When's the last time you woke up in the morning because somebody called you an N-word and you go, I just can't get out of bed. I can't do it. I need some reparations. I don't know what I'm going to do right now because somebody called me a bad name. Man, bad names. Since we've been in grammar school, people call kids call each other bad names. Four eyes, fat, all kinds of stupid names. But why are we still mired in the 1960s as black people? I'm going to answer that for you tonight. They want black people mired in the 1960s because they can't win any other way. And so this is where I'm going to be segueing to, and I want you guys to know it's the same thing for white people. You are allowing people to get you off your game. They're going to say something nasty to you. The gas prices are a little bit too high. Grocery prices are a little bit too high. And the same remedy for black people goes for white people. I'm going to step on some toes here, well, yeah, I guess it is intentionally, because you, whether you're black or white, whatever it is that you're complaining about, you control it. I'll prove it. Why are people so worried about fixing how racism affects people instead of fixing why racism affects people? My dad used to tell me that all the time. How does it affect you? How are you offended? How are you disrespected? You're not. Doesn't matter. Somebody calls you a name, you just keep going. Somebody says you're a MAGA, you're a maggot, you just keep going. Don't take your eye off of where we need to be, because right now we are winning. I know that's a different contrarian take, but I guarantee you, if you started teaching people how to become agnostic, completely impervious to racism, then you'd find people could probably respond quicker and they wouldn't still be in the friggin' hood 60 years later. I'm going to drive down Martin Luther King Boulevard here today after I get done going to the gym, and I'm going to take some pictures and I'm going to show you exactly what your so-called black representation has done for decades. And I did it today. I didn't have time to edit it, so I will show you tomorrow as I drove through Martin Luther King Boulevard, so you guys can see the disparaging aspect of things and how the Democrat politicians, not the people, how the politicians did something to these people, some sort of Vulcan mind meld, and screwed these people over for decades. It hasn't done shit. As I'm driving by a development of brand new $2 million homes here in Boca, and as I see things being erected in different kinds of developments all over town, I know there's a part of town, well, not so much in Boca, but over there in Deerfield, there's a part of Deerfield where I'll drive by, and when I drive by it, it looks like it got stuck in a frickin' time warp. Tell me why. I'll tell you why right now. There's a word, like they use the vocabulary so much, they've come up with words for everything. And then we can't use the words unless we're rappers. I can't use the N-word because people would freak out here. But if you can sing a song, you know the words, you can say whatever you want. They'll allow you to say that, but you can't say it if you want it. I don't know, it's crazy. But do you remember the word they said about the hood? The word that they made up about the hood was called gentrification. And I thought to myself, for years, I thought, what in the hell is gentrification? If I see a piece of crap house and I want to buy a piece of crap house and I want to fix up that house and I want to make a profit, you're telling me I should be ashamed of myself because you're gentrifying the neighborhood. But it's crap. There's rats and people doing drugs and everything else pooping in the house. It is a blight on the neighborhood. I'm going to go spend money, fix it up, dust it off, make it look nice so somebody can live here. And you tell me it's wrong because I'm, quote, gentrifying the neighborhood. So you prefer to keep it the way it is. Understand that many of you may have heard the word gentrification, and that was how they attacked people who wanted to invest and clean up neighborhoods. Hey, listen, this is our neighborhood, and you can't come in and make money in our neighborhood and then let somebody else, possibly white, move in. But your neighborhoods look like crap. They would rather keep it that way than see other people come in and renovate. I remember when I lived in Baltimore, they were giving houses away for $1. $1. If you come in and agree to live here and fix this place up, we'll give you this property that we foreclosed on or whatever. I'll give it to you for $1. You just got to promise to live here for 5 years. And police officers and doctors and, nurses, people who wanted to live in the inner city, who, because it was close to where they worked, would go in and buy these houses and fix them up. Couldn't have that. Couldn't have that. You guys need to get out of here. You're gentrifying the neighborhood. We don't want, what the hell is gentrification? It's a big word, and it means we're making place better, and you can't have that in the hood. You don't dare do that here. But I can go across town and gentrify the hell out of a neighborhood. Nobody's going to complain because I'm increasing the value of the properties. That word alone, that one word, gentrification, is all you need to understand that the black politicians have, by design, kept these inner cities the way they are. Gentrification. Look it up. Tell me why people can get, permits to do $2 million homes and get them up, but you can't fix the hood. Fuck your feelings. Show people how racism shouldn't affect them. That's all I got to say. I know it's going to piss some people off, but you know what? I don't care. And that's just it. I've never cared. Be pissed off, troll me, say whatever you want. I'm still going to succeed. I wish more people took that attitude. Sorry for the bad language there, but I do. I firmly wish more people took that attitude of not letting somebody tell you how you cannot succeed. And the Democrats have made it an art form. They have made it an art form to tell people in the hood, people who are less than fortunate, that it's somebody else's fault because you live in squalor. It's not your fault. Hey, not anybody else. It's the white man. It's people with money. It's somebody else's fault. And now I'm going to apply that same strategy to the gas prices and the food prices. February 28th, I believe, is when the war started. Oh, wait, it's not a war. The operation started. And President Trump then, on February 28th or March 1st, told people, gas prices are probably going to go up. They have to go up because of the operation. And you also know, if you've watched my show, I say it all the time, skate to where the puck is going. I say it all the time. Make sure you are skating to where the puck is going. It's an old Wayne Gretzky line talking about don't get stuck here when everybody is moving here. Whether it's business or personal, don't get stuck. And so I saw what happened this weekend and what happened last week with the Supreme Court. And that's when I knew we were winning. I became completely 100% confident that we're winning. And I realized at this point, there are a lot of people sitting back as the puck has moved, sitting there going, what do I do? And as someone who lives in South Florida, which I've mentioned to you quite a few times, we get these things called hurricanes. And when we get these things called hurricanes, you don't sit around waiting for the hurricane to hit. Anybody who lives in South Florida, maybe even New Orleans, they understand. You make sure you have plenty of bottled water. You make sure you've got some prep food. You make sure that you got stuff in the garage ready to go in case the power goes out or anything else. You got walkie-talkies, you got flashlights. You make sure you're prepared. So let me just ask a question right now. If gas goes to $5, $6, $7 a gallon, what are you going to do? You see, people may not be asking you that question. What if the likelihood is that gas goes up to $6 or $7 a gallon? What I'm going to show you here in a little bit is some of the politics along with that. But I want you, we'll pick that up after I talk about this stuff with the voting. But I want you to put that in the back of your mind. If we are entering in, as Hakeem Jeffries said, an era of maximum warfare everywhere and all the time. If we know we are going to battle with these people, and it's going to get worse. If we know that it's maximum warfare everywhere all the time, how are you prepared? What are you personally going to do to make sure, just like in any other warfare, you'll survive? Now, obviously, I just showed you people at the Miami Grand Prix, and I showed you people at the Kentucky Derby, and you saw people at the NFL Draft. I'm pretty sure those people are agnostic, impervious to what's happening with gas. They prepared. Whether it's recently or before, they prepared, and they said, we are not going to let what's going on over there impact our lifestyle. And so as we move forward with this, I want you to begin thinking right now, because it's on you. It's not on Trump. It's not on the Democrats. If we are in maximum warfare everywhere all the time, you have to take that to heart and go, wait a minute, so I need to get prepared for war, essentially, metaphorically speaking, maybe more than metaphorically speaking. You can't be like people in the hood. You can't blame somebody else. You can't look for somebody else to get you out of your situation. So if you know there's a possibility that gas could reach $6 or $7 a gallon, I'm pretty sure picking up your phone and talking on X or Facebook isn't going to help you. I want you to all talk and figure out, well, what's your plan? What are you personally going to do if you see gas prices going that direction, where that puck is going that way? Because what I'm going to show you now is going to tell you it's going to get a lot worse. Because they have to, because they're screwed. Now listen to this. This is, we're going to break something down here in case you haven't seen it. So just pay attention.
On Wednesday, the court weakened Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act to no longer protect minority representation in the House. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry has already postponed his state's primary elections, where some absentee ballots were already sent in. People had voted to instead redraw its existing congressional map, while Alabama and other southern states have announced special sessions to redraw their maps as well. In a new piece for MS Now, our next guest points out the importance of the American people in this moment, saying, quote, "The fight for a multiracial democracy is the central pillar of our national story. For 250 years, we have grappled with our choices and sometimes suffered the consequences. But we have always moved forward when people organized, persisted, and refused to back down." Joining us now, Stacey Abrams, who wrote that, founder of Fair Fight and 2022 Democratic candidate for governor of Georgia. Madam Leader, thank you very much for joining the weekend.
Madam Leader? What do you mean, Madam Leader? She didn't hold in the office. She's not the governor. Madam Leader. These people are sick.
As always, I feel like we as the royal we, us in D.C., in the media, the lawmakers, we often ask so much of the American people, right? We just had a conversation about what the American people can do to overcome this. And I'm finding myself frustrated, as I think a lot of Americans are, especially folks that watch this show, that they keep fighting, they keep getting out there, they keep voting, they keep trying to stop the things that are happening, and yet they found themselves powerless because you have an administration. You also have a legislative branch that doesn't seem to care that the majority of people look at the things they're doing and have huge issues with them, that they're making, in the words of many civil rights activists over the last couple of days, they're making black and brown people second-class citizens in this country once again.
All right. So there's probably a few of you, I'm not even looking at the chat, like, I don't want to see this. Like President Trump said, you watch it. Watch what I'm about to show you. Don't look away. Understand the fight that's coming for you. And how freaked out they are, because we're winning. They know we're winning, and they can't do anything about the fact that we're winning. And I don't think these guys are prepared for what Stacey Abrams does when she starts talking to them. Matter of fact, I know they're not prepared. Matter of fact, I know you're not prepared for what you're about to hear in a couple of minutes.
Eugene, and I want to say thank you to all of you for the coverage you're giving this. And I want to start by saying the power is the point. We're not powerless. In fact, we are so not powerless that they are trying to legalize the restoration of Jim Crow. That's what's happening here, because our power was working. We had laws across this country that allowed black and brown citizens to be fully realized as members of this society. We have the Americans with Disabilities Act. We have the Fair Labor Standards Act. We have FMLA. We used to have bodily autonomy for women. We were on the way to a multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-generational, pluralistic democracy. And the racist, fascist leadership that starts in the White House but extends to the Supreme Court, members of Congress, and to the state and local level, they're angry about that. They're angry.
Everybody's racist. The fact that you got this decision, that means everybody, down this the local level, the governors, the mayors, everybody's racist. We don't get to win, so everybody's racist. We're on our way to what? See, that's the question. Excuse me, Miss Abrams, yeah. Other than the $2 billion that you stole and got away with, other than that, what are you on? What were the black people on their way to? Because I don't think anybody told them. They are more interested in keeping power than using power. If you wanted to use power, you would fix it so people wouldn't have to wait for people like me to buy houses and gentrify them. People like me wouldn't have to tell these people, you got to do something about these rats. People like me wouldn't drive through and look at, people just hanging out. If you've been working for so many years, why has nothing changed? Because it's not about that. It's not about changing the hood. It's about changing the people who run the hood who are now in Washington. Everything she says, we're changing this, now all of a sudden she's like, we can't change it anymore.
Agree about the power that the people hold. And what they understand that we sometimes forget is that power is never completely won or lost. It is a tug of war, and we were tugging too hard. And that is why we've seen this vicious and fast, lightning fast, stripping of our power. But
so does she just admit that they effed up? We pulled too hard. We tugged too fast. We went overboard. you know, like throwing everything but the kitchen sink at DEI at us, telling we can't, boys can play women's sports and a man becomes a woman. And how much did you expect the American people to take? You tug too hard? No, you were playing tug of war and you cut the rope so everybody would fall back. You thought you could just keep pushing. We're going to do mail order pills so you can remove your babies. We're going to bring in all these people in the border. You're not going to say anything. Everything you did was a bridge too far. It's crazy.
And at it for years. And the work that I do, the work that so many of us are out there doing, is about restoring our belief that we are entitled to that power. But power is...
If you didn't hear it, you wouldn't have believed it. Did you hear what she just said? We are entitled to that power. Where in the world would she and any of the people in the civil rights era feel that at some point they didn't move from working with white people and trying to do different things to help black people to we are entitled to it? Her words, not mine. Listen to her say it again in case you missed it. Entitled. She's entitled to that $2 billion, I guess. Here, listen to her say it again.
That I do, the work that so many of us are out there doing, is about restoring our belief that we are entitled to that power. But power is not handed back to you. Power is stolen from you, or in a democracy that effectively works, it is shared. And so our job in this moment is to not be weary because they are fighting hard. They're fighting hard because we were winning.
Ah, all right. So I'm a study of what people say. I like to listen to words that people say. What did she say? Put it in the chat. We were winning. The realization that people on the left woke up and are now using past tense to describe where they are. We were winning, and this guy Trump came along.
Leader Abrams, I want to put up a map of states in jeopardy in the South. And I put that map up because...
All right, so I want you to look at this map as well. This is where things are going. This is how things are going to be. Look at the red on the right side. There are going to be little pockets of blue, but for the most part, it gets evaporated. On the left side, currently, it shows them having 24 seats. On the right, it shows them losing 13. I don't know why they put it up there that way so people wouldn't freak out, but it's basically a negative 13. She's right. They were winning.
Because I think you know where I'm going with this because you are a student of history. The two states that are missing from this map are Arkansas and Texas. What we are looking at, and Virginia, what we are looking at is basically a map of the old Confederacy. And so this tug of war.
Oh, it's going to putting you all back in chains is what he says. We're looking at a map of the Confederacy. That sound like someone who's winning? That sound like people who feel like they have any chance of winning? No.
That you're talking about goes back to the Civil War. Please put into historical context for folks so that they truly understand. And I'm always pointing out that true democracy in this country is only 61 years old.
Yes.
If you go back to the passage of the 1965 Voting Rights Act and why that was necessary.
All right, so now they're going to try and equate and said there were no civil rights, obviously, before the civil rights era. We all know black people couldn't vote. We all know women couldn't vote. We all know people like him couldn't get married to people like him. Things changed. But like she said, you pushed too far. Many of us knew if you let these people get married, you know what's coming next, right? You know they're going to keep pushing. You know they're going to have drag time stories. They're going to do all kinds of deviant stuff. You know they're going to let That's what happened You pushed too far.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jonathan. So let's start with what the Civil War decided. So post-Civil War, we have 3 amendments that we talk about. The 13th Amendment that ended slavery for most people, unless you're in prison. You have the 14th Amendment that...
Oh, God. Unless you're in prison. Are prisoners slaves? Why did you have to throw that in there? Now we have another Democrat campaign to release prisoners because prisoners are the same as slaves. We had to, we made slavery illegal except in prisons. Their minds constantly try to think how they're going to screw America.
Guaranteed birthright citizenship for now. And then you have the 15th Amendment that said that the right to vote for everyone except for black women, or actually at the time, black women and white women. And
you mean women? Let's just call it.
And when you get to the Voting Rights Act, finally we add women into black women into it. But the 15th Amendment said that you could not deny the right to vote based on race. And so what we saw was that it was working. We saw the sudden flourishing of black men in Congress.
I'm checking the Supreme Court thing. No, it doesn't say black people can't vote. See how they conflate that? Because they have to. You have to rile people up. They're taking away your ability to vote. Said nobody ever except the people, like her.
Men as governors, we saw a sea change, and it was so effective that Andrew Johnson rescinded all of this. And that's when we had what we know as the end of Reconstruction. Then you fast forward. The 19th Amendment gave white women the right to vote. And then you get to 1965. And that is when the Voting Rights Act for the first time said that black people were full citizens of this country because they could vote. And it started to work. And then in 1975, there was an expansion of the Voting Rights Act that said that using racial issues and language issues to exclude Native Americans, Asian Americans, that was also unlawful. And so while black people have always been the centrifuge of fighting for democracy.
Wow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you Asians and Italians and Irish. We are the key to the castle. Us black people, we're the ones that's most important. These people are so full of themselves. That's why they're freaking. Somebody just went and pulled out the rug. Clarence Thomas took the rug and just pulled it out from underneath them. They got so comfortable. As she said, we were tugging, we tugged just a little too far. You tugged way too far. It just came snapping back at you.
This is something that implicates everyone. The work that we do at the 10 Steps campaign is about making sure that we see the whole map, that we understand all of the pieces that make our democracy work. But to your point, that map that you show is no longer just black and white. It is black and white and brown, but more than half of black Americans live in the states that we're looking at. And so what we have to understand is that if they are capable of stripping power from that population, Democrats can't win again.
There it is. I know some of you are like, why is Barry playing this witch? Because of what she just said. What she just said. That's when you all sit back and get ready to light the cigar. Don't light it yet, but you got to just dampen the edge. They know it. They fully know it. You now need to know it. We can't win again. Notice what she didn't say. She didn't say black people in the hood and black people who, want to, quote, overcome, they'll never be able to do it. She said, we can't win. They've exposed themselves. They walked up and pulled up the kimono and they're all naked because that's all they care about. We could never win again. Now you understand the stakes. Now you want let me replay that so you can hear her actually say it. And I'll play it past it so you know I didn't stop out of context. Listen to her.
Stripping power from that population, Democrats can't win again. Progressives can't win again.
Thank you. She just told the MSNBC audience, MSN now, they can't win. Progressives can't win. Democrats can't win. But you won't see that on X. You may not have seen this interview because they probably buried it. They're like, oh my God, she said it on air. She said the words that we don't want people to know. We can't win again. Not this year, not next year, not 4 years from now. We're done. If we can't bamboozle these black people to keep us in power, we're effed. We're completely screwed. We'll never win again. And yet there's people in this chat listening to some people on X talking about, oh my God, and they're grifters and panicants. And I'm like, if they're admitting it, if the Democrat socialist nut jobs are admitting it, we're done. We're screwed. We'll never win again. How in the hell are some of these people still talking on X about, oh, I don't know how Trump's going to do it in the midterms. I don't know. MAGA needs to turn their back. Huh? Why would you turn your back when you're winning? You should be celebrating. You should be tuning out some of these people on X. Don't listen to me. She said it. She's deeply entrenched in the Democrat Party. She's the one who just said, we can't win.
It's that we're looking at. And so what we have to understand is that if they are capable of stripping power from that population, Democrats can't win again. Progressives can't win again.
That's music to my ears. That's I'm not lighting the cigar yet because I wouldn't get that cocky. But at this point, every single one of you in the chat, your head should have snapped and said, what? They're actually admitting it? So Trump has said it many times. Hey, if we get this done, they can never win again. Oh, Trump's a liar. He's a pedo. He's all these things. And there's grifters who you know on X doing their shows going, oh, the midterms are awful. But yet the Democrats themselves are now admitting we're screwed. We're done. We'll never win again.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
And that we are. We are going to definitely win more. People need to realize it. People need to understand their focus, where you need to be skating, what puck, how you need to get ready for what's coming, because it's going to get bad. These people, they know they've lost. I showed you the other day, Mark Elias was on. He was talking to Nicole Wallace. So what do we got to do? Oh, we got to keep fighting. There's nothing they can do. Now we just got to bring this ship into port, and hopefully all the people on our side are still on the boat, which makes you have to wonder, or it should make you wonder, why these people on X are screaming all this crap. Why? You know who they are. I'm not going to mention them. They're people with big audiences, big giant audiences, telling you everything sucks and the midterms are already lost. But yet the Democrats are telling you, we're done. We're done.
Democracy cannot win again unless the entire nation comes together to, for the second time, fight for black and brown folks in the South.
So she just said the Democrats can't win unless, quote, the entire nation, meaning you, me, the entire nation comes and fights for black people in the South. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, honey, but that ain't gonna happen. That ain't even close to happening. The entire nation, with everybody having their own problems and ideas and how they want to live life, you think the entire nation is going to come together and save you Democrats? You're screwed. You're done. And I'm tired of dealing with panicans and grifters out there who are saying otherwise. If the actual Democrats and MSN now, if they're saying it, why the hell would I listen to Republicans, rhinos, and other people who say otherwise?
And Leader Abrams, I just want to take a look at some of these headlines that have come as a result of this ruling that we heard. The Louisiana governor is postponing the U.S. House primary elections after Supreme Court ruling. Alabama and Tennessee are now setting special sessions to consider new congressional maps. And the Supreme Court has triggered Mississippi redistricting special session. You know, there's not a lot of precedent here for what we're seeing, especially when it comes to actually postponing an election that some people have already started casting their ballots for. But this kind of confusion, what does that do to voter turnout?
I will actually point out we have seen it before. We've seen it in authoritarian nations where they suspend election.
So Trump's Hitler again. That strategy has worked really well for you. He's Hitler, Mussolini, all of it all together. That's not going to work, honey.
We've got to remember the United States is not immune to authoritarianism. We're not immune to the seizure of power by the regime in charge. So we have seen it. We've just not seen it here in decades. But let's be clear about what we can do. One, we have to keep talking about it.
Okay, that's going to work. She's got like a little 10-point plan here. Let's keep talking.
We have to lift up what's happening, but we also have to sue. The Supreme Court has,
Oh, you got to sue. Anything about helping these black people yet? No, so far we got two different things. We got to sue. We got to keep it in court. We got to do everything we can. Sue.
It's not weakened the Voting Rights Act. It has killed the Voting Rights Act.
You hearing this? It didn't weaken the Voting Rights Act. It killed it. So I don't know how many dead people you've seen, hopefully none in your family, or dead animals, but those things don't come back. So what are they going to do? If the Voting Rights Act, as far as they're concerned, is dead, you got to start from scratch. It's dead. It's not coming back. There's no defibrillator. It's done. So as you've heard tonight, so far, you've heard her say they can't win. Not Democrats, not progressives, if we don't get this fixed. And now she just said it's dead. So I'm supposed to listen to people on X tell us how we're going to lose the midterms? Okay.
Because we have to look at longitudinally. They started with Shelby v. Holder, then they did the Russo decision, then the Aronovich decision. This is the fourth one. So they've done their best. They've now killed the effectiveness of the Voting Rights Act. But they have not stripped us of the ability to go to court and slow these things down.
I guess she hasn't looked. So let me address that with you. She said we can go sue, but the Supreme Court pretty much put the kibosh on that in advance. They said in order for you to sue, you have to prove that it was racially intentional. That Louisiana and all these places, they did it with the intention to hurt black people. Good luck with that. Good luck trying to prove that the intent was to hurt black people.
And so our first job is to make certain that in every one of these states, in Tennessee, in Mississippi, in Louisiana, what they're trying to do here in Georgia, what they've done in Florida, we have to litigate. That is step 5 in the 10 steps to freedom and power. If you're going to fight authoritarianism, you got to litigate. But we also have to engage. And this goes back to Eugene's point. I know we are tired, but they want our weariness to turn into paralysis. You started with May Day, showing up, protesting, economic boycotts.
So you're telling me one of your big things is engaging economic boycotts from people who don't have any money, probably not going to work. And have any of the protests, even one, have any of the protests worked for black people? At some point, there's got to be a limit. You keep telling these people, we're going to protest. I'm like, well, man, I've been here since George Floyd. I was here BLM. I was here in the 60s. Nothing's changed. You're going to have to get your white liberal white ladies out there because I ain't getting out the hood. I'm going to go over to Miami and watch this race, okay?
All of these things are necessary to prove our point that we are not going away. When I ran for governor in 2018, we increased voter turnout, not through registration alone, but we increased voter turnout by 800,000 people.
Were some of those people dead? Were some of those people not supposed to be in this country? Because what's coming for you is the big, giant, Trump-sized eraser. Oh, they're coming for you. 800,000 people you registered to vote? Okay, let's see how they are.
In the state of Georgia, on the Democratic side, we can do that again. I'm not sui generis. I'm loud and I'm aggressive, but I'm not alone. And so we have races in Mississippi with Scott Cullum. We have races in Nevada with Aaron Ford. We've got races in New Mexico with Deb Haaland, but we've also got races in Georgia and in Alabama with Doug Jones. We can start winning state and local races as well as congressional races.
All right, so I told you this the other day. This is where they're changing their plan. We're going to look at state and local races. They want to take over your towns. So now you are incumbent. You now have to do your homework. When are they doing an election for dog catcher? And see if there's some rule someplace that if the dog catcher decides he wants to take the job as the second, the vice mayor, he could just do it. They're gonna try every little thing to try and steal locally. And God forbid you're in some town where these people find a loophole to stiff you. She just told you what the game plan is. The other guy, Mark Elias, said they are now going to focus really local. Whoopi Goldberg said it. Think nationally, act locally. That's their plan. Their plan is to start all the way deep into your neighborhood, your city commission, and change all kinds of things at that level. So if you don't get out and do something about it, if you don't watch, if you don't subscribe to the emails of when they're doing stuff in your town, you're going to get screwed. They've already conceded the national level. They can't do anything about it. They're going to come for your local towns.
We have to understand that we've got to win Chambers back. We've got to then start pushing those blue states that already have power to expand that power, to pass voting rights laws. We've got to fight these maps. We cannot take as a fait accompli that they have won simply because the Supreme Court said it. Because the same Supreme Court, different composition, same ethos, did Dred Scott. So we've got to remember.
Did she just compare a 2026 Supreme Court decision with Dred Scott? They got nothing. I mean, they literally have less than nothing.
We have fought before and we've won before. It is never easy because the fight for power is never easy.
I thought this was about black people. I thought the fight was to make sure black people and brown people and people of color had a better life. How did this morph into nothing more than a power play? Because that's all the Democrats care about. That's all they've ever cared about. And now they're freaking because they don't know how they're going to put this broken Humpty Dumpty back together. It's destroyed. It's dead. She said it. They killed it. And I ain't going to say it, but you got to stop listening to people who are full of crap, man.
But ultimately, this is a nation that believes in self-governance, and that cannot happen if the people cannot be heard, and that is our responsibility. That's why I created the 10 Steps campaign to encourage us to meet all of the organizations across this country that are doing this work, because we don't all have to do the same thing, but we must all do something, and that means using every lever of political and social power that we have.
Every lever of political and social power that they have. Not once did she mention how to help people in the hood. The very people she says she's fighting for, she didn't say a word in there about them. It's all about power. How do we fix this? How do we get back in power? Power, power. They're coming for you. Maximum warfare everywhere all the time. It's coming. And so at this point, you have to begin looking at the bigger picture and saying, how am I going to be prepared? I don't think a lot of people on the right understand that. I'm going to prove that in the next section. I'm going to take a break and then I'll check out and see if SV's got anything. I'll be right back.
back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, let me see, SV, what you got? Anything out there, man? Anything going on?
Well, no update on Rudy. Actually, the family's saying they want to keep it private for now. So if I see something, I'll let you all know. Looks like we just removed the troll. Actually, that troll, I looked at his channel history. He had donated $2 to you a few days ago.
Wow. Why? What was his problem today?
He says Humpty Trumpty lost the midterms. Thank you, Dumpty Trumpty, for $5 of gas and giving the midterms to Democrats. These people, like, they drank not only a glass of the Kool-Aid, but the whole freaking pitcher.
And not only that, they don't listen. I mean, if I ran a coach of football team and I got locker room talk like, we can't win. This team is way too good. We can't win. I would definitely tell, okay, let's keep it going. Keep the pressure on. We're winning. And people don't they just want to, what's the terminology? They want to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. That's what people want to do. And
they remind me of like the character in ER. Oh, what is me? What's going on? I lost my tail.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's all negative. There's no positivity. I mean, come on, people! You only get one shot at it.
I'm telling you, you and the mods might have a bit of a lot of buttons to push here because it's going to get a little touchy for some people.
All right, one quick update. So this happened about 30 minutes ago. President Trump spotted back at the White House, raising his fist next to Donald Trump Jr. while along the Presidential Walk of Fame. Fight, fight, fight.
Yeah.
And they just put a lid on. So nothing more coming tonight.
All right, fantastic. All right, thank you, SV. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, so like I told SV, this isn't going to feel good for some of you. It's going to cause you guys to really look in depth as to what you say and what you do and how you do it. And part of the thing is, why are you looking for President Trump to fix what you have a problem with? And I think this is where people are like, what do you mean? Well, if you believe, that phrase, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, then you have to wonder, why are so many people bitching about gas prices? Trump's got to do something, like SV said, the guy that he had to boot. Trump's got to do something. No, you got to do something. That's where, at this point, I don't get it. Because like I told you with hurricanes, I can't sit back and say, Ron DeSantis has to find a way to blow that thing so it doesn't come here. Nope, doesn't work that way. The Army Corps of Engineers, go up and fly a plane and make sure the hurricane doesn't come here. Nope, I can't tell Robin, Barry, what are you doing? Well, I'm hoping that they blow the hurricane away. That's your hope? You're telling me you're hoping that gas prices are just going to come down. You're putting it all on President Trump. Well, what if you knew right now there's a Cat 5 off the coast? Are you just going to sit there?
And Diane, do you think it could go even higher, breaking records, which I think were $5.03 a gallon, just talking there about gas prices?
From where we are today, I would agree with Karen. They're going to go higher, and we could easily break those records. And we don't have the buffers we once did. Fiscal stimulus helped to buoy spending in the first quarter. We saw a good, solid first quarter at 2%. But remember, the economic gains that we're seeing are concentrated among fewer affluent households. And
the gains that we're seeing, the tax returns and stuff that we're seeing are concentrated in affluent households. She's lying. But that's not the point. The point is, what are you going to do about it? You see, when Hakeem Jeffries came out and said maximum warfare everywhere all the time, that should have made you go, okay, I'm ready. I've got my pew-pew, and it's stacked. I got a bunch of shells in there. I got a pocket full of shells. I'm going to rally around the family, if you guys know what song that is. I'm ready for what you guys are going to bring. If it's maximum warfare, it ain't going to be one way. We're going to fight back. You notice when people say fight back, that's not the government fighting for you. You got to fight back. So what am I saying? I'm saying that if I know there's a Cat 5 hurricane coming, one, we get out of town. Let's say Cat 3. And it's going to be really bad, and we're going to lose power, and we're going to lose water, and the gas pumps aren't going to be working. What do? Do you sit there and wait for somebody else to do it? Or do you go out there and plan and go, I need some bottled water, I need some gas, I need to get some sandbags if you live in a low-lying area. You do things. You've seen these things on the news down here over and over. Every day, the news there, and they're putting up sandbags, and they're doing this, and they're doing that. And then some of you will say, well, I can't afford it. And it's the same thing to me, like we say people who can't get IDs. If you know there's a Cat 4 coming, or even the possibility of a Cat 4, i.e. $6 a gallon gas, what are you going to do about it? It's on you. And so what's the solution there? If I know that gas prices might be $6 or $7, and I know that's going to be expensive for me, and I understand that's really going to hurt me in a couple months, couple weeks, the puck is going there. Now it's up to you to figure out what you need to do. And what I mean by that is maybe something else doesn't happen. Maybe you don't go out to eat. You just bank that, put it in a rainy day fund. Maybe birthday present just doesn't happen right now. I got to put it in a rainy day fund. Maybe instead of having steak this weekend, I'm going to have to go with some ramen. Got to put that in the rainy day fund. And I know some of you are like, why should I have to suffer? Do I really have to answer that? You have to suffer because you have to go where the puck is going. And if these people are trying to orchestrate pain for you, they're going to be people who are going to be fine with it. They're going to be people like at the rally there the race, there would be 250,000 people who are fine with it. They don't care. They're impervious. Like 300,000 people at the NFL draft. But those of you who know the potential of pain should be doing everything you can do to prepare for that pain.
Fewer firms than we did in the past. That was the case in 2025, and it is the case again today, even with the increase in tax refunds. And as we get into the year, you're going to see more stress out there across the board, and that's what we're really concerned about for U.S. consumers.
I'm sure she's really, really concerned about stress. I'm sure she's fine with everything that happens. It's going to be on you people who can't afford it. Well, maybe at this point, this is what you need to do. Sock some money away just in case. This is what they're planning. This is maximum warfare. You know it's coming. To be caught short-sighted at this point is irresponsible. Make sure you're prepared. Don't get caught. And if it doesn't happen, you're fine. How many times have people bought plywood to board up their house and the hurricane doesn't, it's just a quick blow. Everybody's fine. Every single person who bought that plywood puts it back in a garage and waits for next time. They don't have to worry. I already got the plywood. Nothing happened, honey. The house is fine. They knew what was potentially coming, yet they prepared for it today. What are you doing specifically in this maximum warfare to prepare?
Poor man's fact check. Give us the Steve Leisman version. Trump's argument that the minute this war ends, gas prices are going to plummet. They'll be where they were a year ago.
Well, first of all, I have to remark that I don't know which is more annoying. That I have to sit around and listen to these young people, or that these young people, they're so smart. That's what I don't know.
I mean, as he's speaking,
They're both a little bit annoying in that regard.
Speaks,
I have to
all
make
I
that
do
comment.
is think of myself at 23, and I think, man, you are a superstar.
I bring that up by way of I have a choice. I can listen to Donald Trump's prediction about gas prices, or I can tell you what the head of Exxon said in our air this morning.
Thank you.
And that's kind of an easy tell. And who do I want to listen to? He said it's just starting. What maybe people don't know is we started this war with a lot of oil on the seas. And
what does that mean? What does that mean?
Oil in tankers. I think they knew this was coming. They filled up the oil. They brought it around. We're approaching what the head of Exxon calls the operational minimum. We're still a couple billion barrels above that. When that happens, right now the oil is flowing. People can get the oil they want at a price. The issue becomes what happens when we can't get the oil and you have to start to bid up for it. I actually did a stat. You said 22 billion. Mm-hmm. I did a stat at the beginning of this whole thing predicting that this would be a transference of wealth inside this country of 150 billion for the full year.
Transference from who to who?
You have to ask me that question?
So that guy who is talking is one of the hosts on CNBC, and he's putting out the Mayday. Mayday, Mayday. Big storm coming in. Perfect storm. It's going to be so bad. Oh, it's going to be so bad. But I bet you it won't matter to him. I bet you it won't matter to anybody on that set, including the idiot from Midas Touch. He besmirched Midas's name. Doesn't matter to them. To them, it's a big joke. But this is what they're hoping for. They're giddy. They're smiling. They're happy that it's going to happen. They want you screwed. At this point, you screwed them. You took away their power. Your Supreme Court, your MAGA Supreme Court justices took away everything that they hold dear. So now we got to come for you. Now we got to do everything we can. And you don't think the deep state will try? They try as best they can to make sure you feel it? Well, that's why you better be prepared.
It's a transference of wealth from ordinary average Americans to the oil producers and the people.
Help me understand this. Steve just gave us a true reality check. Mm-hmm. Yet Republicans are going on Fox and other sort of right-wing media outlets looking directly into the camera and saying that gas prices are going down. Right. I've said this on the show before. You can fool my mother, Louise Rule in Park Ridge, New Jersey, about foreign policy issues that she doesn't see, that she doesn't touch. Mm-hmm. She sure as hell knows how much it costs to get gas because she goes by the gas station every day of her life. Help me.
Who goes by the gas station every day of their life? Don't know anybody. It's all bullcrap. SV sent me somebody who's all pissed off at me. And this woman says, you're dodging. You didn't have this energy when prices were down. You're changing the topic of prices to budgeting. I'm not worried about how I'm going to pay for gas, but I'm not acting like it didn't go up. Okay, so let me just explain that to you. I don't care about a temporary rise in gas prices. And I've said that many times. I don't care. I even showed you mathematically how it's really not that much. And people got pissed at that. I'm not dodging anything. I'm addressing people who said that the gas prices hurt them. And so what I'm telling people right now, if you're watching, is if the gas prices hurt you differently than how other people fare, if the gas prices hurt you differently than other people fare, then do something about it. That's what I'm saying. Don't complain. This woman here is thinking I'm changing my priorities and how I'm thinking. I've been watching you, but you can't praise Trump for one thing when it's working, then say, why are we blaming him when prices go up? I didn't say that. I'm saying it was necessary to get rid of Iran, and if it goes up, which he told you on day one it probably would, and Scott Bessent said, you remember what Scott Bessent said and Kevin Hassett? They said it may not go down until 2027. I listened. I wasn't worried. I don't care if you budget or not. I don't care if you can't drive your car. I don't care if you're stuck on the road. Because if you get stuck on the road because you can't afford gas a month from now, whose fault is that? That's not Trump's fault. And I'm not telling people, what else you saying 2 months ago? You praised him for the gas prices. I do. I 100% stand behind President Trump and everything he's doing in the Middle East. Period. Full stop. I'm the one who gets email after email. So what are we supposed to do? How is this going to work? I can barely afford to put any gas in my car. Those are the people who I'm addressing. Like I told you, Miami Grand Prix, 275,000 people. Kentucky Derby, 152. NFL draft, 300,000. There are many, many, many people who find this to be an inconvenience, not an impediment. If you, that lady, if you personally find it to be an impediment or a failure, then that's something you're going to have to deal with. I guess you could always call Stacey Abrams and see how you can, work with her, I guess.
Understand this political strategy.
Here's the thing. It's not a political strategy. And the problem is when you tell people facts, right? Adam can speak to this. And they get triggered, right? When Republicans and MAGA people get triggered, when you just give them basic facts and information, that also speaks to the people. It's like, wait, you don't have an answer.
Let's be clear. Democrats are really good at getting triggered.
Yeah. They can be triggered. But I do think...
This is why I show this stuff, because they are doing, and it works. It works. People are blaming Trump for their position right now because there's some uncomfortability, because there's some pain, which I don't know where they thought the pain a couple of years ago. It's blaming Trump. Maybe you should go watch Alex Jones or Tucker or Candace Owens. You ain't ready for this. If right now you feel like Trump has failed, you ain't in it. You are not here for the right purpose. You are not part of MAGA. I don't want to be around losers. I don't want to be around people who complain. It's very hard for me to look on X and go through and see so many people complaining, because I often want to say to them exactly what I'm saying on the bottom of the screen right now. What are you going to do about it? If we are in an era of maximum warfare all the time, I am trying to get people to understand you're in a war. I haven't seen any war in history that wasn't painful to people. I've never seen a war where some people didn't make it. And I'm thinking to myself, as that woman was commenting, I'm trying to help people get through this. I am not one iota am I saying President Trump is doing the wrong thing. I'm trying to help you to get through it. If you'd rather be mired in misery, I'm not that guy. I'm never going to be that guy. If you don't understand everything that's happening right now, I can't help you if you don't want to listen. If this doesn't make any sense to you,
we're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
I listened to that. I don't know if you guys saw what the White House put out the other day. SB said it to me. They like an hour-long clip of him saying, winning, winning, winning. So it's like watching a coach. But at the same time, there are going to be some players on the field who can't participate, who aren't strong enough, aren't fast enough. You either tell them to get back in the locker room, or you cut them, or you try to strengthen them. I opt for the latter. I opt not to ignore. I opt not to cut. I opt to try and strengthen people's resolve. I don't need that strengthening. I'm hoping many of you don't need that strengthening. But don't misconstrue my desire to help people as somehow I'm going back on what I've said. That's not it at all. I'm trying to get people to understand if you are in a war, what are you going to do? And I can tell you, this ain't going to help you. Not at all. So there we are. That's where I stand with this thing. I know personally how this is going to turn out for me and Robin because we've made preparations. Again, the average person is spending about average person is spending about $50 a month extra. In 2 months, which is where we've been, it's been an extra $100. If it goes 4 months, that could be $200 or $300 cumulatively. If it goes 5 months, it could be, $500 cumulatively. So the question I have for you is if you know where the puck is going and you see, with the summer months coming up, that maybe gas is going to be $6, I'm not making an excuse. I'm saying prepare. There's a big difference there. I'm fully fine with it. Because you know what the ultimate no, I'm not going to say that. No, people would get too offended. And like I said about the black stuff, F your feelings. I got no time for it, man. F your.
Man, you know what? People forgot.
When you're in war, you ain't got time for feelings.
Exactly. And there's going to be sacrifices. People have to learn how to tighten your belts. I mean, maybe don't buy 20 cartons of cigarettes, get 10. Don't buy those 24 pack of, the beer or, the cartons of Cheetos. Like cut back a little bit,
And it was funny. She actually said I was wrong for telling people how to budget. And I'm like, I don't care if you budget or not. I'm just trying to tell you that maybe if you accept that we're in a war, some people are going to have to budget. Yeah. I don't understand how that's wrong. I really don't.
They have memories, the memories of goldfish too. I mean, did they forget what prices were like under Biden?
Yeah.
I mean, I did, and I didn't complain. I cut back on some things. It's a way of life. I mean, I don't know. I think people have just gotten so negative because they've been told to be negative.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I've been pretty blessed. I'm lucky, I mean, I'm not a millionaire, but I've done well and I'm blessed and I'm happy for everything I have. I have a great family and friends. I love being on the show here, helping people out. So no complaints from me today.
The thing is, I just don't know why anybody would complain at all. Because if you're bitching about something, that tells me you don't have a solution. That's the part I don't get is if Robin came in here and said, the light bill's not paid, what are you going to do about it? I can't say it's too expensive. There's no lights. What happened?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I'm sorry, honey. It's too expensive.
I guess I'm going to have to do without lights.
Oh my God. Yeah. Tomorrow's show will be brought to you by FPL. Okay. FPL is taking all my money and I don't know what to do. I got no damn lights. So,
make it make sense.
When I hear people say stuff like that, I always compare it to Robin because she would walk in here, hey man, the lights are off. Huh? Why are the lights off? I didn't have enough money to pay it this month. That's my problem. Turn it back on. And you know what's worse down here is, especially when we have storms or something, it's not even so much the lights. If the power goes out, your AC goes out.
Boy. Yeah,
nobody wants to be around in a house with no AC. And she would come knocking on the door. What are you going to do about it? I'll call them, but I don't have a big truck. I can't get up there and do something. That's the whole thing I was trying to say, because if it goes dark on you, you can't say, what did Trump do? I don't.
A couple of years ago, I had a whole house generator put on because we've had some issues with ice storms over the years. And I just said, I don't want to deal with it. So I did something about it.
Yeah.
Power goes out, my whole house goes back to power. I mean, it's great.
Did you get a Generac?
Generac, yes, 22 kilowatt. Does
And
the
what's the
entire
deal?
house.
So we need to get one of those. So if the power goes out, the entire house or just certain appliances?
Mine does the whole house.
Oh, wow.
You can do it to do certain things, but I'd rather have it the whole house. I mean, there's a brief flicker before it kicks in. The internet,
Yeah.
you know, I have everything on UPSs on my computer and stuff. Yeah, it's like somebody just flipped a switch. You know, the light goes off and it immediately everything comes chugging back on.
And how much is it? Propane or gas?
Well, I have natural gas in the neighborhood, so it's underground. So it's automatically shipped underground. So I don't have to, you know, obviously if it stays on for a couple of days, it might be up, but I don't have to have anything shipped in. And it's really, I've used it in the last 3 years, probably about 6 times more than 4 hours, because we might have had a storm. But it's so nice to not have to deal with that, because I had a mobile one. You know, I used to pull outside my garage for the gas and have to run the wires in. I just got tired of that, you know. So the convenience of this is nice. And yeah, they're not cheap. They're, you know, this one was about $11,500 3 years ago, but it's definitely worth it. So if you can do something like that, I would definitely recommend it.
I mean, so you actually prepared for a potential calamity.
Imagine that. I didn't scream. I didn't screech. I wasn't scared. I prepared.
and I'm sure it wasn't something that like happened yesterday. You read up on it. You had gone out without power or a storm or something for a while, and you're like, I can't keep going. I can't keep going through this. Let me make sure I'm ready next time.
Plus, you know, as I'm getting older, I didn't want to have to deal with it all. I'm preparing for the future. Imagine that. I'm a very prepared person. So yeah, my closet's downstairs. I have cases of water, food. I mean, I'm prepared.
I bet you there's something. I bet you there's something else around too. Something that goes bang bang.
Yeah, I have a few of those. Exactly, locked and loaded.
See,
how'd you know?
I don't understand why people have those in their homes. I don't understand why they lock their front doors, because you don't have to lock your front door. Oh, that's right. It's called being prepared.
Exactly.
I don't get it.
I know. I mean, Barry, you can only lead folks to water. I mean, a lot of people are listening and they appreciate it, but others, you can't fix it, you know?
Well,
I mean, they're the first ones. Well, you know what they are. They're the first ones that will hold up the white, flag when we get invaded.
They'll end up voting for a Democrat. That's probably good.
That too.
All right, man. Thank you very much. Hold on. Look,
have a great evening, Barry.
Oh, it's only 9:30. I was going to say if the Trump schedule is up for tomorrow, but it usually doesn't come up for 10. So thank you very much. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right. See you.
All right, everybody. Like I said, I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings. I knew some people would their feelings get hurt, because it's not an easy subject, because not everybody, a lot of people like to blame other people. I'm just not one of those people, because I have someone I got to answer to. She's right out there. And she knows if she goes out and gets in her car, she's not going to ask me, well, the gas is too high. We didn't buy any gas. No, I need to go get some gas. And anyway, I just can't sometimes, man. These people do get to me. I'm only human as well, but I don't get it. I don't like misery. Never liked misery. And I definitely don't like excuses. All right, so let me do super chats, and then we'll go from there. Pekoski. But what I did do, just Pekoski, so you know, yesterday we put a whole bunch of hats into boxes, so they will be going out. Ricky, don't lose that number. Thank you. Brian Newland, I am one pissed off human being right now. For July 3rd, 1988, my mom about lost her only child. Wow, it was a suicide mission. An airliner took off from Bandar Abbas, and moments later, 2 Iranian F-14s took off. Wow, sorry to hear that. Michael, thank you. Brian, who do I talk to? What do you mean? You talking about the F-14s? Yeah, give us an email if you need someone to talk to. James Hammond, members of Congress cannot be impeached. They can be voted out of office or recalled by their district. Lele, my heartfelt thoughts and prayers with Rudy. Please heal him now. Absolutely. Captain Danny Barrow, I'm hardcore MAGA, but tired of the GOP whips. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of people on the right who just aren't suited for this. Ronaldo, rhinos suffer from HUA, head up ass disease. There's no other way than voting them out. We need to be heard and vote. God bless. I completely agree. Pekovsky again. X who? Fume drummer. Still no NATO in Operation Freedom. Europe is afraid to piss off their new comers. Exactly. Can you imagine what will happen over in those countries? Pekovsky, Illinois is against installation for AI. Yep. Brian, I got to cook at the Kentucky Derby. That must have been awesome. Very awesome. Barry used the proper bad words. Buddy Sanders, UT baseball, go Vols champ. Did the Vols win the national championship in baseball? Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. They beat Florida. I wonder who they were playing against. Florida's always up there. Ronaldo, I had feelings once. I think it was in 1974. Macon Blankenship, I can't hear them whining. I got Trump screaming, we're going to win so much, and I'm going to keep winning. Indeed. Chiosop, there you are. Fat Stacy and Daryl from Coming to America. Oh, the guy with the big, funky Jerry curl afro. Kelly Baxter, remember the Civil Rights Act in 1964 that Lyndon B. Johnson said at quite that I'll have those voting for Democrats for the next 200 years. They never talk about that, though. Mountain Goddess, SV or Barry, look up George 10. Traffic thousands of Haitians purchased homes in Springfield, Ohio. Put 15 in a house. Got jobs with Dole through his staffing business. Wow, that's nasty. Chiosop a couple times. They were so used to cheating. Now they can't win. They actually said it. Unless they cheat, they can't win. I hope GOP doesn't drop the ball and let them out. Exactly. Cutting edge, and we can put ICE agents into voting areas. Gotta happen. Martin, the first 3 black U.S. senators, Hiram Rhodes Revels in 1870, Blanche K. Bruce in 75 from Mississippi, and Edward Brooks in 67, all were Republicans. I didn't even know that. That's phenomenal. Tonight, Barry, you could kick a field goal through Abrams and cat teeth. Oh gosh. Buddy Sanders, as long as Iranians are freed from the Islamic regime, I don't care about gas prices. And Ronaldo, ammo prices set to rise exponentially through November. Huh. I didn't know that. Wow. Roberto, we all need to grow a pair. Yes. Kelly, look up the history on Iran, Persia, and the United States will open your eyes. I knew a guy and his wife was from Persia, which was pre-Iran, and she used to tell us the stories of how differently it was. You remember SV is the new Bo Snerdley. In case you guys don't know who Bo Snerdley is, he was Rush Limbaugh's right-hand man. So, yeah, he was pretty good. Al Phelps, thank you. Christina Mozart. Christina, I saw one of your comments that just made me laugh today. Some people don't get it. Gas prices are the least of our worries. When they realize they have been defeated for good, it will get nasty in the worst of ways. Lock and load. You are so right. So right. Neo, Barry, you're right. Tighten the belt. We'll get through. Sorry, missed the show last 3 days. Hubby was in hospital. Have a blessed evening and week. Oh, I'm sorry. Hope he's okay. Heidi, thank you very much. And John Robinson, a $2. Yeah, yesterday it was $2 trifecta, paid $11,000. So if you were lucky enough to hit that was pretty good. All right, thank you guys. Hope you guys made it through. You didn't feel like I stepped on toes too much. I will see you tomorrow. I don't know what time yet because I got to wait till the schedule for Trump comes out.
Bye.